Hey everyone. So get this. Ripple was actually at the White House on Friday. Pretty crazy, right? And here's the thing. It's because we just witnessed history in the making. The very first federal crypto bill just got passed and signed into law by President Trump. Now, I've got to tell you, this is absolutely incredible news for XRP, and I'm going to break down exactly why as we dive into today's video. Now, here's the one bummer. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse couldn't make it to the event. He had to sit this one out, unfortunately. But don't worry, I'm going to get you completely up to speed on everything that went down with this whole situation. And trust me, there's definitely more exciting stuff heading our way. Look, I want to be straight with you about something. Regardless of how you felt about this recent election, whether you lean left or right politically, I honestly don't care, and it doesn't matter for what we talk about on this channel. Whether we see eye to eye on politics or not, we can totally still be friends here, right? I'm only going to touch on politics when it directly impacts the economy, finance, and especially crypto and XRP. And here's what I can say without a doubt. The way this election played out is going to mean bigger net worths for all of us in the crypto space. I'm talking about everyone watching this channel. This is such great news for all of us. Our portfolios are going to look so much better because of how things turned out. Why? Because the war on crypto is finally over. And XRP, if anything, it's actually being favored right now. I mean, what a blessing this whole thing has turned out to be. And just think about it. Our XRP community has been through absolute hell for almost half a decade now. And here we are finally coming out on the other side. Instead of fighting against headwinds, we've actually got tailwinds pushing us forward now. I mean, hell yeah, right? But hey, before we go any further, I really need to make something crystal clear. I don't have any kind of financial background whatsoever. I'm definitely not offering financial advice here, and you absolutely should not buy or sell anything based on what I'm saying, okay? All right, so check out this post from Stuart Alderati. He's Ripple's top in-house lawyer, their chief legal officer. That's him right there in the middle with that gorgeous smile. Here's what he wrote. Honored to be at the White House for the signing ceremony of the Genius Act into law. As promised, this is the most crypto-forward administration we've ever seen. And he's absolutely spot on. I don't think you guys realize just how insane the amount of money flowing into crypto right now really is. The floodgates have completely opened up and everything's gone pro-crypto in America, which happens to be the biggest capital market on the entire planet. This is amazing news for you, even if you're not living in the United States, by the way. The money that's pouring in is just incredible. And you better believe a chunk of that is definitely finding its way to XRP. It's already happening as we speak. I seriously can't stress enough how life-changing this whole situation is for all of us. I mean, yeah, crypto markets probably still would have gone up if the election had gone the other way, but not like this. Absolutely not like this. The amount of institutional money that's flowing in right now, all these businesses putting their money where their mouth is. Do you think all these publicly traded companies that are now publicly announcing they're using XRP as a Treasury reserve asset, do you really think they would have made those moves if Trump hadn't won? Come on, obviously not. Obviously they wouldn't have. It's pro-crypto all the way now, and we can all totally agree on that. I don't care where you stand politically. If you're being intellectually honest about this, we can absolutely all agree on that point. So Stuart Alderati posted that, and then Brad Garlinghouse actually reposted it. He said, Team Ripple at the White House celebrating a historic day for crypto. Bummed I wasn't able to make it in person, but celebrating from afar. Okay, Brad Garlinghouse, he's got to be working on something absolutely massive, right? I mean, think about it. If you're not at the White House when you actually could have been there, that's like a once-in-a-lifetime memory you're missing out on. So if he's not there, what on earth is he doing that's more important than that? And please tell me it has something to do with XRP. I really hope the answer is yes. Or maybe he just caught the sniffles and couldn't make the trip. Honestly, I have no clue. But check this out. This is absolutely huge. We just witnessed the first federal law passed pertaining to crypto in United States history. So here's the headline. Trump signs landmark Genius Act hailing exciting new frontier for crypto. President Trump signed this landmark bill to regulate cryptocurrency on Friday, calling it an exciting new frontier for the technology. And this was just one day after the bill passed the House. So the bill got passed on Friday. Actually, wait, I might have worded that wrong earlier. Hold on, let me double check this because it's just hitting me that I may have gotten that mixed up. So here we have Stuart posting this on July 18th. Oh, wait, no, it was Friday. Okay, I actually did word that correctly the first time. My dates were just getting all jumbled up in my head there for a second. So the article goes on to explain that this legislation called the Genius Act is actually the first major law governing digital currency, and it creates a regulatory framework for the massive $250 billion stablecoin market. Stablecoins are seen as a pretty safe type of cryptocurrency since their value is tied to other assets like the dollar. The bill passed the House on Thursday with 206 Republicans and 102 Democrats supporting it. And hey, I'm really glad to see more Democrats getting on board with this, but honestly, the majority of Democrats are still fighting against crypto. I mean, how does that even make sense when there's literally no anti-crypto voter bloc out there? What are they even doing? It's not like being anti-crypto is helping them win votes or anything. It's actually not helping them at all. And here's the kicker. Being anti-crypto is actually hurting consumers, hurting all their own constituents. It just doesn't make any sense. And here's the thing. People like us, me and everyone watching this channel who actually gets crypto, well, guess what? There absolutely is a pro-crypto voter bloc, and they're pushing every single one of us away. All of us. They're literally shoving us away by being anti-crypto for no good reason other than wanting to make this whole thing partisan. They're just making it partisan for the sake of being partisan. There's absolutely nothing inherently partisan about crypto. There just isn't. Come on, stop it already. Just stop doing that. I mean, we'll eventually get there, but man, it's frustrating. And look, it's pretty obvious that the younger Democrats are way more likely to be pro-crypto, and I totally give them credit for that. They deserve props where it's due, but you'll still find that most Democrats, especially the older ones, nope, they just won't budge on this. It's so clearly partisan, you know? And here's the interesting part. There are plenty of old Republicans too, but they're still all pro-crypto. So age doesn't completely explain this whole thing. They're actively choosing to make it partisan. Anyway, the piece continues. We worked hard. It's a very important act. The Genius Act. They named it after me. The president joked in the East Room of the White House. I want to thank you. This is a hell of an act. And again, that's a direct quote from the president right there. Now, here's what's on the White House's website, and I want to share just a few key bullet points that really get to the heart of this whole thing. It talks about consumer protections, of course, which basically sums up what this bill does in a nutshell. But please pay attention to this part. This is a huge takeaway if you're holding XRP. The reason this matters so much is because Ripple actually has their own stablecoin. You guys might have heard about it by now since it launched back in December. It's called Ripple Stablecoin, and the ticker symbol is RLUSD. And here's the beautiful part. All of the RLUSD that gets issued on the XRP ledger actually requires XRP to function. Because of how the XRP ledger is coded, RLUSD literally could not exist on the XRP ledger without XRP being involved. And here's the even more important part. Every single transaction of RLUSD that happens on the XRP ledger actually requires XRP to work. It basically functions like a gas token. So every single transaction for any asset, whether it's XRP itself, RLUSD, or anything else that gets tokenized, a tiny bit of XRP gets burnt with each transaction, including RLUSD. Now that makes XRP more scarce, just marginally, but it definitely does. And it also makes it crystal clear that XRP is here to stay for the long haul. Think about it this way. If you're jumping into the crypto space and you're interested in diversifying and getting deeper into crypto, and you know that XRP is actually functionally useful for RLUSD, which is getting adopted more and more, and you know that RLUSD on the XRP ledger can't work without XRP, don't you think that's just one more reason that's going to make it way more likely you'll invest in XRP when you're diversifying your portfolio? I mean, the answer is obviously yes, right? And so this whole thing makes RLUSD way more likely to get adopted. It protects consumers, which in turn makes it much more likely that XRP gets used for every single transaction that happens on the XRP ledger. That's exactly why this matters so directly to XRP. But there are other things that benefit us indirectly too, and it's pretty obvious what I'm talking about. This is what I was getting at earlier in the video. You're going to have a much bigger crypto pie overall with way more money flowing into crypto because of all this legislation. And you can bet that a good chunk of that money is absolutely going to find its way to XRP. So check this out. I just want to quickly share a few key points. The Genius Act is all about protecting consumers, strengthening the US dollar's role as the world's reserve currency, and boosting national security. And just to pause for a second, they actually explain this in more detail in one of the next points I'll mention, but it's true. RLUSD, for example, is backed by the dollar and US treasuries, so it's literally backed by US debt. That's exactly what helps keep the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. It just makes sense for the Fed to support this. It's a total no-brainer. Now let's see what else they wrote as I scroll down a bit. This long overdue legislation sets up the first ever federal regulatory framework for stablecoins, making sure they stay stable and trustworthy with strong reserve requirements. The Genius Act says issuers need 100% reserve backing with liquid assets like US dollars or short-term treasuries, and they also have to publicly share monthly disclosures about what's backing those reserves. So there you have it, and honestly, I haven't checked yet. I'm not sure if Tether has said how they're planning to respond to this, but Tether's always seemed a bit shady. I'm not saying they're doing anything illegal. I don't have proof of that. But they've acted shady for as long as they've been around, refusing public audits. So I don't know how they'll handle this. Maybe they've already responded. I haven't Googled it yet, to be fair. I definitely don't claim to know everything. Honestly, I think I'll look into that after this video because now I'm curious. Tether has been so shady about this, refusing to show exactly what their stablecoin is backed by. They always come up with these excuses like, oh, it's proprietary, we can't reveal how we do things. Come on, seriously? We're just asking you to prove it's backed. That's not going to ruin your business model. It's frustrating. Ripple's doing it. Circle's already doing it. So why not Tether? It just makes you wonder what's really been going on all these years. If everything checks out and it's all legitimate, which I really hope it is, then great. But even if that's the case, why not just be transparent from the start? It's so unnecessary to keep things so secretive. It just doesn't add up. All right, moving on to the next point. Stablecoin issuers now have to follow stricter marketing rules designed to protect consumers from misleading practices. For example, they can't falsely claim their stablecoins are backed by the US government, federally insured, or considered legal tender, and that's a big win for transparency. The Genius Act also works to align state and federal stablecoin regulations, creating a fair and consistent framework nationwide. On top of that, if a stablecoin issuer goes insolvent, this act ensures that stablecoin holders' claims are prioritized over other creditors. That's a huge step forward in consumer protection. But here's the frustrating part. Most Democrats voted against it. Why? It seems like they're just opposing crypto adoption for the sake of it, or maybe because it doesn't align with their preferences. It's disappointing, especially when these protections are clearly in consumers' best interests. Let's hope for more constructive support moving forward. Here's a big moment worth talking about. This is Brian Armstrong, the co-founder and CEO of Coinbase. Here he is standing in front of the White House, and he called it a surreal moment. Why? Because President Trump just signed the first ever federal crypto bill into law. This marks the beginning of an exciting new chapter for crypto, starting with stablecoins. Next up, market structure. And Coinbase is committed to meeting the White House's September 30th deadline. If a federal market structure bill gets passed, we're talking about the floodgates opening. More money flowing into the space, more opportunities. It's a game changer for the entire crypto industry. Honestly, I'm feeling pretty thankful right now. The way this all came together during the election has made a huge difference, and I know my net worth is looking a lot better because of it. The future is looking brighter than ever, and I'm so thankful for that. No matter where you stand politically, let's just be honest. If you're involved in crypto, this is great news for you, period. Like I said earlier, just take a step back and admit it. This is a win. I'm beyond excited to see where this takes us. What a time to be alive, seriously. What a time to be in crypto. Most of you listening have been here for a while. You've weathered the ups and downs, and you should take a moment to celebrate. You were here before the rest of the world caught on, ahead of almost every institution and business out there. You saw the potential before most people even understood it. That's a big deal, so props to you. And for those of you who are brand new to crypto, welcome to the wild ride. It's crazy at times, but it's also exciting, and I'm happy to have you here. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, so please don't make any decisions to buy or sell based solely on what I say. That would be a really bad idea. Always do your own research.